Good morning, everyone. My name is Anne Marie Paraccio. I am the chair of the Board of Trustees of Sustainable Jersey, and I am pleased to welcome everyone to today's 2020 virtual municipal grants announcement ever. Our first one as virtual, so thank you very much for your patience. To the municipal representatives attending, thank you for taking time out of your busy day to attend this event. We know that COVID-19 pandemic has placed significant responsibilities and challenges on your municipalities, and we're happy to share the good news of your grant awards with you. To the PSE&G Foundation, thank you for your continued support of Sustainable Jersey and the grants program. This support has been instrumental to the success of the program and fueling the passions of elected officials, municipal staff, and Green Team volunteers throughout the state to make a difference in the communities. On behalf of the whole board, I can share that we are always inspired by the stories that come through this grant program, so it's just wonderful. Unfortunately, we're not able to meet in person this year, but I encourage you to not limit your exposure to your fellow grant recipients and to PSE&G to this event. At the end of the session, we'll have time for questions, and I hope the conversations will continue through social media, the Sustainable Jersey regional hubs, and future events. You should be proud of your projects, and I hope you'll share your progress on social media. Kaitlyn will talk more about this towards the end of the program. And I would now like to invite Rick Thigpen, the Senior Vice President, Corporate Citizenship for the PSE&G Foundation, to say a few words. Rick?
Can you hear me?
No.
Anne-Marie? Still cannot hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay, my microphone is unmuted. Okay. So first off, thank you very much for the welcome, and certainly as always, thank you to my old friend Randy Solomon for the great work of Sustainable Jersey. It is really a privilege on behalf of the PSE&G Foundation for us to be a part of these fantastic efforts that Sustainable Jersey is doing. And perhaps now more than ever is being called into question in the face of a great pandemic, the importance of sustainability and the importance of us protecting our environment. And the interaction between this pandemic and Sustainable Jersey is something I continue to watch and I'm eager to learn more about. But having said that, certainly the municipal certification program and the Sustainable Jersey program for schools continue to be things that have my attention and really my passion. I think it's a very, very important mission to teach and help our municipalities adopt more sustainable strategies. I really want to commend Sustainable Jersey for what they're doing, and I am so proud that people not only run the programs, but also are proud to participate in award ceremonies, and they do it with pride on behalf of the towns that they represent. So to me, this is an outstanding program. I'm really proud of public service being a part of this partnership, and I'm really proud of Sustainable Jersey for all of the good things you continue to do. And perhaps now more than ever, the efforts of Sustainable Jersey are needed. It has not escaped my attention that the public sector in New Jersey is facing major financial repercussions from the pandemic, and that everybody on this call and every municipality are going to be called upon to make tough choices going forward. I wish everybody the best. I hope that public service can continue to be, or the Public Service Foundation can continue to be one of your partners. And we really are proud of the work that you do. We are proud of helping you do your work. And I hope no one loses faith in preaching the gospel of sustainability as you go forward through this pandemic and beyond. And we really all hope to work together to make New Jersey's future more sustainable. Thank you very much for giving me a chance to express myself, Anne Marie. Thank you, Sustainable Jersey, for all your efforts. Thank you, Randy, for your leadership. And thank you, everyone who's on this webinar, for participating in the programs and for having pride in helping make your municipalities more sustainable. Thank you very much. Anne Marie, you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can everyone hear me?
Yes, Andy.
Great. So I was struck by technical. This is Randy Solomon, the Executive Director of Sustainable Jersey, and I'm going to be a old school pre-COVID-19 disembodied conference call voice today because my computer decided to boot up, and then of the like seemingly 25 other devices we have in the house, my kids and my wife are utilizing all of them for school. So I'll try to be brief. But I just want to say thank you to Rick and to PSEG for your support. Sustainable Jersey would not be what it is today without you and all of your colleagues at PSEG's unflagging support for this program and your support for municipalities and schools and the work that they're doing on the ground every day to try to make their towns better, to make the state better, and to solve a lot of our big problems. And I think, for many of us, the pandemic has been really disruptive, but the work goes on. And so here I am trying to scramble to find my notes and my talking points on a phone while I'm talking to you all. But that won't change the fact, even though we have these technical glitches, that the money will be dispersed. The work that you're going to do, you're going to continue to be able to do, and the problems we're trying to solve, we're going to be able to solve. And there are a lot of connections between the current pandemic and the work of sustainability and Sustainable Jersey. I actually like to think of this as, in some ways, almost a warm-up for the disruptions that could continue to come and get worse if we don't deal with issues like climate change. It's kind of like, if we don't deal with climate change, you haven't seen anything yet. So the Sustainable Jersey, we're still here. We're still taking your phone calls and responding to your emails. We're still providing technical assistance. We have moved all of our programs online and into virtual settings, including a lot of our technical assistance. We're still placing Environmental Defense Fund, corporate climate core fellows into municipalities to find energy savings, but we're just doing that virtually. And a lot of our other technical assistance programs continue to go on as before. And so we hope that all of you continue your work as before, because we're going to need it. PSEG has provided to municipalities and schools $2.2 million since 2012, and has provided $760,000 to Sustainable Jersey directly in general program support to provide that technical assistance to you. And overall, the Sustainable Jersey Grants Program has provided over $5.6 million to municipalities and schools. So again, this is not about us. And as Rick knows, it's not about PSEG, it's about the work that you're all doing. And so I just want to wrap up by thanking you and congratulating you again, but really expressing gratitude because the green teams and the folks on the ground are the ones that are doing all the hard work, making sacrifices, volunteering your time, going above and beyond the call of duty to try to do something for our collective future. And so, again, I'd just like to express that thanks. And now I'd like to introduce Samantha McGraw, Program Manager at Sustainable Jersey, to announce the $20,000 and $10,000 grant recipients.
Great, Randy. Thank you so much. And thank you to everyone for joining us today. We are very excited to be announcing our municipal grant recipients this year and look forward to you embarking on these projects and, as always, seeing the amazing outcomes and the great work that you're going to be doing in your communities. So up first, I'd like to announce the $20,000 grant recipients. Next, okay, great. So our first $20,000 grant recipient is Galloway Township in Atlantic County. They are going to be doing a Reduce, Reuse, Inspire campaign. And Mary Crawford, chairwoman of Go Green Galloway, is going to say a few words about the project.
Samantha, thank you so much. Galloway and Go Green Galloway team specifically is just thrilled to get this grant. We are so anxious to get started, and it was such a positive email to get amongst everything else that was going on. So we were extra happy, I would have to say. We did a brainstorming session among our group, and specifically for this grant as soon as it was announced for the opportunity. And I think that was important because what it brought, an entire group came together, and it brought out the strengths of our team. One of those is that we have a lot of former educators in our group, and we have a great relationship with the schools. So that led us to have some programs geared for the elementary schools, which will be designing a reusable bag contest. For our middle schools, we're going to do a science fair contest. And for the high schools, we're going to have a video contest all around the reduction of using single-use plastics in our community. We also have a lot of crossover, and I'm sure a lot of green teams feel this as well. We have members involved with other groups like Surfrider and the Citizens Climate Lobby, as well with our local refuge, and we also have a local university. And so we came up with the idea of teaming with them to have a series of speakers and movies that we can show at various locations, and all those groups combined will put it out to their social media platforms that we can advertise and try and reach a broader audience. The other aspect, we had started a green business campaign, and we really wanted to expand on that. And so we decided to also include a local business forum, invite some businesses that have already started to go green so they can share best practices with other business leaders in our community, as well as bringing in the suppliers for the various alternative products to plastic for takeout containers and forks and spoons and all that stuff that we want to see kind of cleared out from our community. We also are fortunate in Galloway to have an Office of Sustainability, and I serve as Deputy Mayor for Galloway. So we're working within the community at our local parks, and we're going to be putting in a couple of bottle refill stations at the most used parks in our community. I was just out yesterday citing one place which we call Patriot Lake, which is right next to a big playground that is used hopefully soon again, and a great location to put a refillable water station there. And with the other aspect that we wanted to enhance was we do projects with our neighboring town of Absecon. We have a couple of members that serve both Absecon and Galloway because we have a farmer's market, and Absecon folks come to Galloway to attend the farmer's market. So we wanted to involve them, and all these projects that I laid out will cross over to both towns. So while we have a design a bag contest for our elementary schools, Absecon will do theirs as well, and then we'll come together for a joint ceremony and show them what has been done. So I think the main thing I wanted to stress was bring your team together, have a creative just brainstorming, just throw out ideas that nothing's bad, just start, and it will naturally guide you to some ideas that people get excited about, that they already have context for, and it just led to a very natural grant application that we put all together for this project. And I just want to close and say that we really appreciate Sustainable Jersey for so many years and all the ideas that they come. It's an organization that doesn't just talk, they walk the walk. They give us specific ideas and projects and things we can do, and we really appreciate that. And of course, PSEG Foundation for putting up the bucks to do this. We really appreciate it. We intend to use the money very wisely and have as much impact as we can to reduce plastic use in our community. Thank you again.
Excellent, thank you. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of great community collaboration that comes out of the project, so we can't wait to learn more about that later.
Thanks, Samantha.
Thank you. All right, our next $20,000 grant recipient is Hamilton Town, also in Atlantic County. They are going to be incorporating sustainability elements into the master plan, and Stuart Wise, professional planner, is going to share a little bit more about their project.
Thank you, Samantha. On behalf of the town of Hamilton, our mayor and council, business community and residents, we would like to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSE&G for recognizing our past efforts in the field of environmental sustainability and historic preservation, and to help us continue those efforts into the future. Hamilton as a community understands the need to modernize, but not at the expense of our core values. We recognize the history of the town is based on land. We're, of course, the blueberry capital of the world. And we understand that we can't truly call anything progress if we don't protect the natural man-made environment in which we play and work and live. Within this context, Hamilton's policymakers are proud to have, over the past several years, established a green team, adopted a sustainable land use pledge, adopted a resolution encouraging green buildings. We began a program to transition police vehicles to hybrids, to begin to plan for electric vehicle charging stations, and to work with NJDOT on a bicycle and pedestrian network. However, these are all separate, independent initiatives. In providing these grants, our goal is to package the efforts I just spoke about and other new efforts under a single comprehensive master planning umbrella that will, in and of itself, address sustainability and historic preservation, but will also inform land use policy and decision making in the town for years to come. So with that, we again want to thank Sustainable Jersey and the PSE&G Foundation for giving us this opportunity to do something that we perhaps would not be able to do without this funding.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Stuart.
Thank you.
And our next $20,000 grant recipient is Oakland Borough in Bergen County. They are going to be doing a community garden and seed bank, and Allison Fleeson, co-chair of the Sustainable Oakland Green Team, is going to share some information about their project. Just bear with us while we try to get her audio on.
Everyone, this is Kaitlyn. I just want to let everyone know Allison's having a little bit of trouble. Allison, have you unmuted on the account you're logged in that is not the web account? So please go ahead and try speaking now. Oh, it looks like you are self-muted. That might be the problem.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, yay. Sorry about that.
No, it's all right. No worries.
Sorry, I was turning it on and off and it wasn't working. Hi.
We're all in this together.
Sorry about that. And the camera option is not working. Oh well. Okay. Anyway, I just wanted to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSE&G for this amazing opportunity. The Oakland Borough has wanted a community garden for a long time, and we had discussed with our senior center and our schools and tried to find a location that was centralized. The location that we picked is right in the middle of our town, where it can be accessible to all residents. The design of the garden took into account the senior citizens in our town as well as the disabled. We actually had designed the some of our beds to be wheelchair accessible. They're actually like a raised bed tabletop type of a thing, so that a wheelchair could go under it. We also spoke with our senior citizens in town, and what they had asked for the most was something that they could actually sit at a chair or at a walker, a seated walker, where they could actually use the beds. So that's how we came up with the design. We also are utilizing property that was formerly a racquetball area, so it has concrete. So the actual property does not need to be leveled. It's already concrete in a section that we're using for the senior citizen and ADA beds. We're also going to have tabletops and a whole learning area. We're also through PSCNG a few years ago, we had gotten a grant where we were we got a seed bank in place, which we're finally launching now, and the seed bank will be at our library, which is right next door to the garden. So we're really excited to have all of these pieces coming together to make our dreams kind of come true for our community garden. I'd also like to thank our borough. The mayor and council were a huge part of this, where they supported us all along the way with the design and helped us to get further with the design of this garden. And that's about it. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Access to food is such an important thing, especially right now, so I'm sure this will be a great addition to your community. And our next $20,000 grant recipient is Collingswood Borough in Camden County. They are going to be doing a green dining district, and Donna Helms, member of the Sustainable Collingswood Green Team, is going to share more about that project.
I want to say thank you to Sustainable Jersey for their partnerships and for all their support. They've been great. Thank you for Randy Solomon came last night and spoke at our green team meeting, and so it's nice to see him again. I also just want to thank Samantha and Kaitlyn for taking all my phone calls, answering all my questions, and just all the guidance that they've given us has been really, really helpful to our process. And thank the PSCNG Foundation for giving us this opportunity. So Collingswood, our project started out of our plastic bag ban, which was one of the first in the Tri-County area. Our green team includes residents, municipal representatives, and Collingswood, we're famous for our restaurant row. So we have a lot of businesses, retails, are also part of our green team, and we were talking about how could we further sustainability goals and build on the momentum with the plastic bag ban to really further reduce single-use plastics. So we started to talk about this idea of working with our restaurants to see what are ways that we could help further sustainability. Was this something that they were interested in? Was this something that consumers would be interested in? So we developed a survey that we had online, that we spent last summer all at our farmers market, at our local pool, getting people to talk to us about what types of disposables they feel are important to not use, what would they be willing to pay more, what type of dining would be okay, would they be comfortable using cloth napkins and no straws, things like that. And what we found was an overwhelming response, positive response to having our restaurants go even greener. And concurrently, while this was happening, our business improvement district, some members of our green team are also on the business improvement district. They were researching what are some acceptable alternatives? Are they cost effective? Can the businesses get together to do a purchasing co-op? So we were working to see how we could build a green dining experience for Collingswood. And we also started researching what are national standards, and that was really exciting because we learned there's lots of ways to further sustainability besides just banning the plastic straw or plastic bags. We started to learn about ways we could improve energy and water conservation, ways we could even further reduce chemical use, ways we could engage the community as businesses. So we looked at national standards. We created an infrastructure whereby the green dining district will be voluntary. Restaurants will contact the municipality, say that they want to participate. We have, we've developed a national standard. I mean, we didn't, but we use national standards. So we have a transparent certification process that it'll allow us as a town to have metrics Are we meeting our goals? What are lessons learned? What are some of the challenges? It'll also give customers a sense to build trust and have an experience that they know that this restaurant shares their sustainable values. So we were really excited to start this process, especially with everything going on. It was really exciting to get this news. It allows us to have something to look forward to, thinking of how, when the restaurants open, how we're going to roll this out and make Collingswood an even better place to be. And I want to thank you again for giving us this opportunity.
Great, thanks. Yeah, I'm sure this project will be a great model for other municipalities moving forward. And our next $20,000 grant recipient is Franklin Township in Somerset County. They are going to be doing green infrastructure planning and implementation, and Ted Chase, a councilman there, is going to share more about that project.
On behalf of Mayor Kramer, the Township Council, and the residents of Franklin Township, I want to thank Sustainable Jersey and PSE&G for the generous grant and continued support. Franklin Township has been an active member of Sustainable Jersey since its beginning and is twice silver certified. Franklin Township has been recognized as a leader in stormwater management across the state, with our fee requirements supporting regular inspection of stormwater management facilities. In 2015, we worked with Rutgers University's Water Resources Program to complete an impervious coverage assessment and a subsequent impervious coverage restoration action plan. Right now, we're working with the New Jersey Water Supply Authority to update 4 of our detention basins to Rutgers' current standard. We'll use this grant to complete a green infrastructure feasibility study, which will provide the township with project-specific drawings, calculations, and cost estimates for successful green infrastructure projects at our public spaces. Policy recommendations will also help us to review potential site plan review and zoning changes to support future projects. After the study, Franklin will use any remaining funds from this grant to kickstart and, if possible, implement 2 of the identified green infrastructure projects. Franklin's Department of Public Works will assist with the installation of these projects, reducing the cost and training DPW employees for future projects. These projects will serve as demonstrations sited on township-owned land and will include signage to educate the public about stormwater management. Rutgers Cooperative Extension's Water Resources Program will be contracted to complete this study and provide oversight during implementation. When the study is complete and long after the first projects are implemented, we will have measurable results, including reduction in impervious coverage, reduction in volume of runoff, viability of plants and biomaterials in installed systems, and more. Maintenance costs can be evaluated by the Department of Public Works and compared to costs for conventional stormwater management. Projects will be monitored for a 2-year period after implementation. Residents of Franklin Township will benefit from the funding of this proposal through improved water quality, flood reduction, and increased awareness. The project has a high educational value for people of all ages, which is desirable to work with the newly released stormwater management rules. Thank you.
Great, thanks so much, Ted. So that concludes the announcement of our $20,000 grant recipients. So now I'd like to transition to our $10,000 grant recipients. First recipient is Maple Shade Township in Burlington County. They are going to be doing their first natural resources inventory, and Susan E. Danson, the township manager, is going to share more about their project.
Susan just want to let you know you're self-muted, so you have to unmute yourself real quick.
How about now? There we go. All right, let's try it again. Thank you again, and especially to Sustainable Jersey and to PSE&G for this opportunity and for this grant. As many of our colleagues know, an NRI typically includes a summary of the natural resource characteristics and environmental features of an area. This could be our soils, our wetlands, vegetation, wildlife, including threatened and endangered species, and of course also any existing land use and transportation maps. This inventory is going to help us serve as a baseline resource for measuring these things and evaluating the protective resources within our community here in Maple Shade. Our 2016 master plan reexamination did include identifying various natural resources such as limited forest areas. We have streams that surround our community and creek frontages, wildlife, and it also identified the ability to preserve environmentally sensitive areas in their natural state and protecting those natural resources. As mentioned, the township currently does not have a natural resource inventory, and like many towns, we simply lack the financial resources to complete one. Since Maple Shade is located in a densely populated, environmentally sensitive area, is how we look at it, we believe that it was essential to get this completed in order to protect and preserve everything that we have here and everything that surrounds our community. So, we are looking so forward to getting started on this and completing the NRI so it can serve as our guideline and assist our planning and zoning boards so that they can make more informed decisions, so that we can maintain and improve the quality of life as well as our economic viability for all of our residents and our business owners. Again, on behalf of Mayor Volpe, our Sustainable Maple Shade Chairman, Lou Mancello, his team, all of our residents here in the community, we are extremely grateful to both PSE&G and Sustainable for the award, and we look forward to continued successful partnership with you all as we work together in keeping Maple Shade not only a viable community, but a sustainable one and a wonderful one as well. So thank you again very much. We really appreciate it.
Great, thank you. There's certainly no doubt that, natural resource inventories are a very valuable asset to communities. Our next $10,000 grant recipient is Verona Township in Essex County. They are going to be doing a community garden, and Stephen Neal, Township Director of Administration and Economic Development and also Sustainable Verona, is going to share more about their project.
Sorry, I forgot to share my webcam. Hi everyone, thank you Samantha, thank you Randy, thank you Kaitlyn, all Sustainable Jersey, and especially the PSE&G Foundation for the opportunity. This community garden is something that's been talked about probably for over a decade now in Verona. So we're very excited to finally get this off the ground. We probably couldn't do it without the support of the PSE&G Foundation and this grant. So this will really kickstart things. This has been a community-focused project from the start. We actually engaged all the residents early on with a survey about 2 years ago. Through that feedback, we actually developed a small subcommittee of our green team from people from all different sectors and other various commissions. So they've really been working hard on this for a good year or so. And I've kind of been the middleman with the township to help plan everything. We found a perfect location. We did soil testing. We did all the background work we needed. And we're excited because it's in the dead center of town, right in the middle of our downtown. It's a kind of an open lawn space right at the back of our middle school. So there is going to be a collaboration with the schools on this. There's going to be an educational piece to the garden, a sensory piece to the garden. We're actually using Eagle Scouts to help construct some of the planters. After we get the water line in and the fencing up, it's pretty much going to be all hands-on volunteer work, which is, exciting for us. So, we're really happy. This plot of land was kind of looked at as a spot that could be very useful additional parking near our downtown. So we're happy to actually be able to preserve it as a new communal green space, for years to come, hopefully forever. So just really positive project. This has been like such uplifting news, I know, for us and the whole community, the whole green team, the subcommittee. And we're really excited to announce this to the whole community today after this event. So thank you again to everyone involved, especially our subcommittee who's worked so hard on this, Sustainable Jersey, and again, the PSE&G Foundation.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Steve. Our next $10,000 grant recipient is Reddington Township in Hunterdon County. They are going to be doing meadow management plans for open space properties, and Robert Becker, a member of the Environmental Commission, is going to share more about this project.
Hey, Robert Becker.
Well, good morning, everybody. Somehow your slide screen has completely disappeared from my computer, but your panel over here that has the speaker and video is still visible, but not the main picture. So
we can see you. So
okay, well, I can't see me, but that's good for you guys. You can hear me and see me, so
yeah.
Good. I first want to thank PS&G for providing this seed funding. You know, without the seed funding, many good ideas are not going to be allowed to germinate and grow into exceptional new events and new things. And secondly, to Sustainable New Jersey, whose category alignment and definitions provide a benchmarking framework for towns and municipalities to do the right thing and to do things right. If you're not experiencing this program, you should be asking yourself why you're not. My name is Robert Becker. I'm a member of the Reddington Township Environmental Commission, and I'm the facilitator of our Sustainable Jersey program. Reddington Township is located on the eastern edge of Hunterdon County. We're located midway between Flemington and Somerville, if you need to get a reference. The township was chartered in 1730. We have 48 square miles and a population of around 16,000 people. We are a rural suburban community, and we are proud to be silver certified in Sustainable Jersey. In the early 60s, as farmland began to disappear under the encroachment of urban sprawl, leadership in the township began a very aggressive farmland preservation and green acres acquisition strategy. Today, almost 37% of the township's property is in one manner or the other protected. Again, that's 37% of 48 square miles. Over the years, green acres and other properties have been evolving to support our recreational needs, parks, hiking, horse trails, and natural resource implementations for such as tree planting on protective stream buffers, pollinator gardens, and other things. With this grant, we hope to be able to improve on our land stewardship and our open space properties in order to maintain and enhance the benefits and in the future in a more orderly process. And again, through this effort, we'll also be able to upgrade our natural resources inventory. Specifically, we have 93 fields identified on 32 different properties, totaling 268 acres. As the township moves forward to protect these properties, we'll be working with students, faculty, and staff of the Raritan Valley Community College Environmental Studies Department, in addition to our Open Space Board, Environmental Commission, and volunteer citizen scientists to inventory flora, fauna, and other important environmental conditions, soils, hydrology, impact of human disturbance on these fields and properties. From this initial assessment, we'll now set priorities into the development and use of these metals going forward. We're hopeful that this effort will provide a blueprint and a methodology for other communities to follow. Thank you very much.
Great, thank you so much, Robert. Our next $10,000 recipient is West Windsor Township in Mercer County. They're going to be doing a Bring Your Own Bag initiative, and Dan Dobromilski, West Windsor landscape architect, is going to share more about this project.
Hello, everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm the staff liaison for the West Windsor Township Environmental Commission and Green Team. And on behalf of West Windsor Township Mayor Hemant Marate, the Township Council, and the Township Environmental Commission and Green Team, I'd like to thank Sustainable Jersey and the PSE&G Foundation for your leadership in providing all the programs that you do for Sustainable New Jersey, and also the award of this grant to fund the BYO Bag West Windsor Reusable Bag Education Campaign. This grant will help West Windsor build upon our track record of advancing environmental issues balanced with economic and social interests to create a place to reside along a more sustainable path. As we are all becoming keenly aware, the addiction we have developed with the annual worldwide estimated use of over 500 billion single-use plastic bags, each with a potential life of 1,000 years in our landfills, and unfortunately many in our streams and natural areas, is getting out of control. Where in contrast, it's estimated that a single-use bag could substitute for the use of 6 of these plastic bags a week, which can equate to over 22,000 less plastic bags over the life expectancy of the reusable bag. The Township Environmental Commission started studying the impact of plastic bags, the thoughts of the community, the concerns of businesses and residents, and the proliferation of the bags in 2017, 2018. This culminated in a recommendation that the Township Council support and consider a ban in 2019. In November 2019, Mayor Marate charged the Commission and Green Team to develop an education campaign in the community to foster improved awareness of the environmental harm caused by the bags and foster a new habit for reusable bags by area residents. The Green Team has outlined a campaign that will educate and engage township and area residences and businesses on the environmental and health perils of single-use plastic bags in favor of reusable bags. The grant will fund the distribution of reusable bags, production of flyers, posters, and signage. It'll include community engagement that'll occur on multiple forums, including social media, retail stores, local fairs and markets, and the schools. We have an active group of students that have been heavily involved in this going back several years. And it also involved the Green Team and group getting out to community events and promoting the use of reusable bags. There are about 30,000 residents in West Windsor Township and 10,000 households, but the regional school district includes Plainsboro and the adjacent town and county, and the social and local retail locale reaches into adjacent communities of Princeton, East Windsor, Robbinsville, Cranberry, and Lawrence. Thus, it is expected that this campaign could influence over 60 to 90,000 persons residing in the area. I'm hearing some great ideas from some of the other communities today, in particular Galloway and Collingswood, similar type of things. So I'm interested to see some of the stuff that they've done in some of the other communities through Sustainable Jersey. So we appreciate that. And we're really looking forward to getting started and seeing what impact we can make. So I want to say thank you and stay well, everyone.
Great, thanks, Dan. And we will have time at the end for questions that can be asked of the recipients of each other. So hopefully we can try to encourage some networking to share ideas on some of the similar projects. Our next $10,000 grant recipient is Hanover Township in Morris County. They are doing a backyard compost initiative, and Nadia Mian, member of the Hanover Green Team, is going to share more about that project.
Hey everyone, my name is Nadia Meehan and I'm a member of Hanover Township's Green Team. On behalf of our Mayor Ron Fancioli and our Deputy Mayor John Fermasca, who's also our Environmental Commission and Green Team Liaison, Hanover Township Committee and the Town of Hanover, we wanted Township of Hanover, we wanted to thank Sustainable Jersey, Kaitlyn for all your wonderful help, Samantha, Randy, and PSCNG for this grant and wonderful opportunity. So Sustainable Soil is a pilot backyard composting program in Hanover Township with residents of single-family homes. We're hoping that composting will help divert a significant amount of organic waste from our landfills and provide a lot of nutrient-rich soil to our gardens and community. The pilot program will provide compost bins and a container to collect food scraps that'll be distributed via a free drawing to 100 residents in the township, as well as a series of free workshops and seminars to educate the rest of the public and everyone on the benefits of composting. We chose this program just by brainstorming, again, different ideas, things that we could do, and we really wanted to bring together different members of our community as well as our residents. And we wanted to give people something tangible that they could actually do and see the results of. A lot of this was also impacted by China's decision in 2019 not to purchase recyclable material that resulted in a lot of crises for US municipalities. Less demand overseas for reused plastic and paper, recycling was adding up, and just, it contributes to an exorbitant amount of waste. Compounding our matter was in 2019, Hanover Township approved several sites for redevelopment that would add a significant number of new housing units to the area. So with the stress of added development, coupled with the recycling crisis, the township had to really rethink its strategy and how it was going to deal with waste. So working together, the Green Team, the Environmental Commission, we also have a community garden. We have a beautiful arboretum that's next door to us in Morristown. We thought it would be great to start to re-educate the public on recycling and waste. So the group was also influenced by Morris County's Municipal Utilities Authority's Tag It or Leave It program, which would aim to reduce the number of items that don't meet current recycling standards and contaminate the entire recycling stream. So this was really just something that would kind of bring everyone and everything together. And so we're hoping that through this, and also with COVID-19, since everyone's at home and cooking more, that, composting will help reduce a lot of waste that's going into our land streams and, hopefully find ways to reduce a lot of that waste and also create beautiful gardens at the same time with some of that compostable soil.
Great, thank you so much. And our last $10,000 grant recipient is Island Heights Borough in Ocean County. They are going to be upgrading their outdoor recreation spaces to be more inclusive environments. And Tara Church, a member of the Environmental Committee and Green Team, is going to share more about that project.
Hi, everyone. I just want to say thank you so much to Sustainable Jersey and PSCNG for this grant opportunity. We're so excited. It was such a wonderful email to get that we were one of the $10,000 grants. I like listening to all the other projects. You guys, I can't wait to see what you accomplish with this grant opportunity. But for us, we are going to upgrade our recreation spaces, meaning we want to, we got a community block grant to put a handicap accessible parking space and ramp to one of our parks, but there isn't any equipment there. So we want to get an adaptable swing. We want to, we have a children's garden and we want to put in some musical pieces to inspire creativity and try to get kids to disengage from electronics by providing a space where they can, use their imaginations. There's a little share library that the Boy Scouts made that we have there, which is, one of those outdoor libraries where you could read a book and leave a book. We have a shell path. We have, some different things, but musical pieces there would be absolutely perfect. And then we want to put in some senior outdoor recreation equipment, because we have a senior
population, just like everyone. Our average age in Island Heights is already 51. So we are going to do like a community outreach and education about staying active as you age. And to go along with that, we have a park where we think it would be perfect to put some adult and senior outdoor park equipment. We saw that at, I think, one of the many you know, booths that we went to, I think at the League of Municipalities, and we started talking about that it's not just kids that use parks today. Like we think that they should be accessible for all ages. So we think that that would be perfect. And this kind of stuff is not feasible for a small town to purchase when, you know, you're looking at budget cuts and, you know, all the other expenses that towns incur. To be able to get funds to benefit the community and, you know, have people, even especially now with COVID-19, having all the parks and playgrounds closed, I think once we make these improvements, people are going to appreciate it even more because they're missing that social interaction, that getting outside and being physical. And so we're just really grateful. We're excited about it. We're going to partner with our recreation committee, with the school, with cultural and heritage. We're going to do an education and outreach events, and we just can't wait. And we hope everybody comes to Island Heights and do a little park hop and check out all the great stuff we're going to do with this grant. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Tara. I think there's definitely no doubt, you know, a big hallmark of the Sustainable Jersey program is just community in general. And I think all of the grants that we are awarding today really speak to that. And I always get very excited when I can just hear and see how passionate everyone is about the projects in their community. So like I said before, really looking forward to seeing the completion of these projects. But now I'd like to turn it over to Kaitlyn Vollmer, our grants program coordinator, and she is going to announce the $2,000 grant recipients.
Thank you, Samantha. Congratulations again to the large grant recipients, and thank you all to the representatives from the towns who spoke on behalf of the project. I know it's really beneficial for everyone to hear what else is going on within the larger New Jersey state community, so really appreciate everyone sharing their thoughts. I'm now happy to announce the $2,000 grant recipients. Okay, starting from Atlantic County, Buena Vista Township was awarded a $2,000 grant to construct a butterfly garden at their town hall. From Bergen County is Fairlawn Borough with a grant to build a sensory garden. Also from Bergen County is Glen Rock Borough with a grant that will be used to update its natural resource inventory. And then Paramus Borough with a grant to support an anti-idling campaign. From Camden County is Merchantville Borough with a grant that will be used to fund its composting and gardening project that will take place at the town's community center. From Cumberland County is Vineland City with a grant to support the city's very first green fair. From Essex County is West Orange Township with a grant to install artificial floating islands to help improve water quality in 3 of the local waterways. From Mercer County is Hopewell Township, using a grant to support the collection of non-mandated materials within the township. Also from Mercer County is Trenton City with a grant that will be used to print guides for citizens to help them better understand the city's master plan. From Middlesex County is East Brunswick Township. They'll be using a grant to support a farmer's market. And also Jamesburg Borough, who will be using a grant to start a green business recognition program. From Monmouth County, Marlborough Township will be using a grant to support a plastic waste reduction program. Also from Monmouth County is Milltown Township, who will be using a grant to support a recycling education and outreach campaign. And also Red Bank Borough that will be using a grant to fund its Navesink River Protection Project. From Morris County, we have Washington Township, who will be using a grant to install a bioswale at Harrington Park to help with the stormwater runoff. From Passaic County is Ringwood Borough. They're receiving a grant that will support efforts to create a healthy environment within the borough. From Somerset County is Bernardsville Borough. They'll be using a grant to start a green business support and recognition program. And also Manville Borough will be using a grant to support efforts to bring environmental justice principles into planning and zoning initiatives. And lastly, from Union County, we have Crawford Township with a grant to support efforts to live green without using single-use plastics. And then Fanwood Borough will be using a grant for its Green Team Visibility Project. So I want to congratulate all the $2,000 grant recipients. These projects are a really great way to get your green team engaged and really help move sustainability initiatives forward in your town. So congratulations to you and to the recipients of the large grants. I really look forward to supporting you and your projects throughout your grant performance periods and seeing how they all turn out. I know we're at our time limit. I know it's supposed to end at 11, but I would like to briefly go over some of the reporting requirements for your grants. And then at the end of the presentation, I will be staying on along some Sustainable Jersey staff if anyone has any questions. Okay, so everyone's grant comes with a certain amount of reporting requirements. The $10,000 and $20,000 grant recipients all have an 18-month performance period, and as part of those requirements are required to submit an interim or a check-in report about halfway through. The recipient will also have to provide a summary for that report, the recipient will have to provide a summary of the project's progress, any expenditures that have been made thus far, and any modifications that were made to the original grant proposal, which we'll talk more about a little bit later. Also, any plans for ribbon cutting ceremonies can be shared during this report at that time, and any plans for project signage, if you want to make sure you have the right logos or anything like that, can be submitted as part of that interim report as well. So for all the recipients, including the $2,000 recipients and the large grant recipients, everyone will have a final report that will be due at the end of the performance period. This needs to be submitted in order to close out your grant. The $2,000 grant recipients have a 12-month performance period, whereas like I mentioned before, the larger grant recipients have a little bit longer of 18 months. This report will include information on the impact of the community outreach efforts, the lessons learned, any grant expenses that you've incurred, and then information about the project modifications. It'll also be asking you for 2 photographs and any documentation that the PCG Foundation and Sustainable Jersey were acknowledged as project funders in promotion materials and signage. So we do encourage that you take photos throughout the process of your project and that you make sure that when you're creating those materials to acknowledge Sustainable Jersey and the PCG Foundation. And I'll be sending our logos to everyone following the presentation in a follow-up email so you have those when you're making that signage. I also want to mention that the large grant recipients will all be receiving half the grant award up front. So for the $20,000 grant recipients, that means they'll have the $10,000 up front. And for the $10,000 grant recipients, they'll be receiving the $5,000 up front. That half payment should be sent to your fiscal contact that was listed on the grant sometime today, so you can expect it within a week or so. That means that those large grant recipients will be expected to cover the second half of the costs until after the final report has been submitted and approved, and then we'll reimburse you for that second half of the grant according to what you submit via your expenditure documentation. Okay, I mentioned before about project modifications. I just want to go over what exactly that means. So Sustainable Jersey allows grant recipients to make modifications to the project throughout their performance period. For example, if you need more time to complete the project, you can request an extension. If you need to revise your budget, maybe some of the materials you wanted to get are no longer available, or you found a better price for something, or maybe you even got more funding from a different source that was able to cover some grant costs. You can request a budget revision to spend down that grant funding. You can also request a project modification if your scope of your project changes at all, or if you need to change any of the activities or the steps of the project that were originally proposed. You do this by first creating the documentation. If you're submitting a budget revision, we do have a template, and then submitting it to me to approve. And once approved, you'll be able to move forward with that project. I also want to talk a little bit about the action plan and timelines. I know I've received some inquiries about towns being worried about how their action plan timelines will be affected due to the COVID-19 crisis. I want to let everyone know, as part of our project modifications allowance, we are happy to accept updated action plan and timelines. Please, if the crisis has affected your plans for your grant project, go ahead and submit a revised action plan and timeline to me so we have it for our records. If you can try and keep the timeline within the performance of your grants, that'd be great, but we do understand that you might need more time. But please, for now, just keep it within the performance periods, and then if you find out later on that you need more time, we can always have an extension granted to you at that time. Just talk a little bit about project promotion. As I mentioned before, this is really important for the program. Not only is it great to share the success of your projects and engage your different stakeholders within your community on how to implement the project, but it's also really great for everyone else to see that too, with the larger community. So we do encourage you to promote your project through various channels, including social media. If you are sharing any photos or any kind of posts, please tag us in it. We would love to, be able to see those posts. You can use the tags for Sustainable Jersey and then the PCG Foundation that are listed on this slide. Also, we do ask that as you are, getting your projects kick-started and you're getting work done and getting really great photos, if you want to send any to us, we'd also be happy to promote your project through our own social media channels. Okay. As I mentioned before, just a reminder, please do inform Sustainable Jersey of any ribbon cutting ceremonies or events. We would love to send representatives of our staff and then also representatives from the PCG Foundation to these events. We think these are all really important, and we would love to see how the project turns out. So please, make sure to invite us. You can just send me an email at grants@sustainablejersey.com. And also, once again, I just want to show you a few examples of some project signage and other materials that recognize Sustainable Jersey and the PCG Foundation. Like I said, this is really important and really helps, us retain funding for the future cycle. So if you could also keep this in mind when you're completing your projects, that would be great. And then lastly, I just want to talk a little bit about the reporting forms. Links to the reporting forms will be emailed to the primary and fiscal grant contacts at least 1 month in advance of the due date. They'll also be accessible via our website. You can also find the reporting requirements. In order to log in to view your reports, including the interim report and the final report, you have to log in using the original grant application login information. If the contact who's responsible with completing the report has changed, so if the person who submitted the application is longer with you, or maybe you want someone else to be in charge of the report, please contact me, as we will have to update your login information for you, since you will only be able to log in with that original login information. You can reset your password, but if you want to actually change the email address used to get into the reporting forms, have to go through me and WiseHive, which is our grants management software provider. So I just wanted to thank everyone again for joining. I know I kind of went through this reporting requirements quickly, but I want to let you know that a copy of those formal requirements will be sent with the check to your fiscal contact that you should be receiving within a week. I'll also be sending this presentation, the slides of this presentation, and likely the recording to all recipients so they have a copy of it when they're going through their projects. If you have any questions about anything we talked about, I'm happy. We're going to be taking them now, but you can also email me at grants@sustainablejersey.com. And now I'm going to turn over the facilitation of the questions to our Deputy Director, Renee Hayter, and she can help with answering those.
Great, thanks, Kaitlyn. So far, we've only received a handful of questions, and most of them relate to the issue of having to request modifications due to COVID-19. And so, Kaitlyn, just want to cover that again in terms of how they submit modifications.
Sure. I'm gonna go back to that slide. Hold on 1 second. So like I said, we completely understand that the COVID-19 crisis has likely affected your grant projects in terms of not only your action plan timelines, but maybe it also has affected the scope. Maybe certain activities won't be as easily completed as they would have been before this. So, like I said, we're happy to accept project modifications requests. In order to do that, you just have to send an email to grants@sustainablejersey.com detailing your modification request. If you want an extension, you'll just have to let us know, why you need the extension and for how much time you think you need. If you want to revise your budget, maybe, like I said before, you can't get certain materials anymore for some reason, maybe because of due to COVID, that's fine. You can submit a budget revision. We have a template for that that's available on our website. These links will be live when I send you the presentation slides, so you'll be able to go ahead and take a look at that when you get these. In terms of action plan timelines, we're just calling that out specifically right now because we know that, if a lot of things being closed, if municipal buildings being closed and, things kind of, being stagnant at this time, we understand that this is most likely going to be the modification we see the most. So we're just asking if you want to go ahead and just turn in a new action plan timeline now before you run into any issues. We're happy to accept them and keep them on file. So please just go ahead and submit those to grants@sustainablejersey.com, and we have a template for that as well that you'll be able to access once you get these presentation slides.
Yes, so that was the next question that came in about being able, if the attendees could receive a copy of the slides. So I responded to everyone that yes, we will be sending the slides to all the attendees and posting them on our website.
Great, thanks, Renee.
So there's another question that just came in, and it's for individual line items in the budget. Are we restricted to the amounts listed in the submitted budget, or is there some flexibility without submitting a change request?
Yes, so we do have some standards in terms of when you need to request a budget revision on our website. In fact, I'm going to go navigate there real quick. So we're looking for major revisions between the different line items. I believe we say, let me just double check. Anything, I think it's between $500. So if it's a very small amount, for example, maybe you're buying something that's a little bit cheaper, like $10 cheaper, you don't need to submit a budget revision request for that. If it's just a very small change, that's fine. But if you're doing a major change where maybe you were going to buy a whole different set of equipment, or maybe you want to buy or put more money into the stipends, that's a significant amount. I'd say, within the hundreds of dollars, then you'll have to reach out to us for approval, especially if you're making any changes to promotional items, since we do have a limit on that. Those kinds of areas are important to get approval for first. And if you're not sure, please feel free to email me. You don't have to email me the entire template if you're not sure if you even need one yet. Just email me, ask if you need to get this approved, and I'm happy to help you at that time.
Right, within shifting the budget items within what you already have listed in your budget is different than adding a new line item. And we have had instances where in the past where grantee had a few $1,000s left and then went out and bought a whole lot of t-shirts, and that would need to be pre-approved because we do have limitations, as Kaitlyn said, on how much of the grant could be sent on promotional items.
Correct, but we are flexible, so definitely just reach out, and we can figure it out.
Are there any other questions? Great. Well, thank you all for hanging in there. I know we went a little over time, but there were some, this is our first virtual grant announcement event, and kind of we needed to, go through the kind of technology challenges, but I think it all went well. And the presentations of the projects were really interesting. And it's so interesting to hear a verbal reflection of the project other than what's in the grant application, because you can really see the passion and thought that went into the projects. and the enthusiasm surrounding them. So,
Absolutely.
Caitlin or Sam, you can close us out.
I just want to say quickly, and then I'll let Samantha wrap it up, is that once again, thank you everyone and congratulations again. I will be following up with an email that will include the presentation slides. It would also include a customizable press release template that our communications consultant, Chris Urinary, kindly put together for everyone. And you're welcome to use that to help promote your project. I know we said don't promote it until today, so now you're free to go ahead and share your project with your entire community. So thank you all again, and I'll let Samantha close it up.
Great, thanks, Caitlin. Thank you so much to all of our presenters today, all of the grant recipients. If you have questions about the grant projects that we awarded today, just let us know, and we can try to connect you with the other grant recipients to help foster ideas and sharing so that you can expand your resource network. So with that, thank you again for joining us today, and we look forward to seeing where these projects go over the next year or so.
Thanks, everybody.